I love making these videos on Hollywood. It's pretty fun, don't you think? I love this shit. They say pressure makes diamonds, but sometimes that pressure can burn studio sets to the ground. Most of the time, a film doesn't just test your budget, it will test your sanity. The cameras roll while tempers flare, directors walk off or get fired, actors and their egos clash and collide, and what's left behind is either a masterpiece or a disaster that limps into theaters like a wounded animal. But sometimes, out of the chaos and dysfunction, rewrites, production walking out, and even crews being scared to go to certain locations, a masterpiece can emerge into something unforgettable. These films should have never existed. These 5 productions went so off the rails, but yet somehow made it to the finish line. This isn't a behind the scenes, this is behind the breakdown. Let's get into it.
You guys got fat while everybody starved on the street. It's my turn. You come with me. I'm at the Plaza Hotel. You're welcome. You're all welcome!
Before a single frame was shot of this movie, it was already burning bridges. And that movie is The Boondock Saints. It started as every writer's dream. An unknown barber, Troy Duffy, sells his script in a bidding war. Betamax bites, and Duffy, he thinks he's the next Tarantino. But that confidence quickly turned into chaos fast. He trashed actors in meetings and auditions, rejecting big names like Mark Wahlberg. That would have been a totally different kind of Boondock Saints movie. I'm glad he didn't get that part. And even started making a documentary about his rise. That's crazy. Before he even had directed a single scene. His behavior became so toxic, Miramax dropped the project entirely. Other studios followed suit. Duffy went from Hollywood's golden boy to industry poison overnight. But here's the twist. The movie still got made on a shoestring budget. It flopped theatrically, but it blew up when it became available on DVD. Millions of copies were sold because we still love physical media.
Message!
And it instantly became a cult classic. But the damage behind the camera was legendary. And speaking of chaos and egos, this next film had 2 actors, 1 prison break, and about 10 different people trying to control the wheel all at the same time. I'm talking about Tango and Cash. Picture this: Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell, explosions, one-liners. This movie could have literally directed itself. Instead, Tango and Cash became a behind-the-scenes battleground. Russian filmmaker Andrei Konatsky, I just butchered that name. It's all good, baby. Was hired to bring a sleek version of this film to life. But halfway through, the studio fired him. They weren't really feeling his artsy take on an action flick. In came new directors, multiple editors, and producers who rewrote scenes literally while they were filming. That, to me, is just insane. Meanwhile, Stallone and Russell weren't exactly buddy-buddy. Stallone allegedly fought for more control, clashed with producers, and pushed rewrites that shifted the tone completely. One exec even forced a prison escape ending that no one, including the cast, even understood themselves. Despite the mess, the film still made money and developed a loyal fan base, including myself. I do love this movie. I don't know what it is about it. But the behind the scenes drama, that was the real action of this film. Sometimes chaos doesn't always mean ego. Sometimes it's about the legend behind the rewrites of an ending due to an audience response. Case in point, I'm talking about I Am Legend. Will Smith helped carry I Am Legend to box office glory, but the film's road to theater, well, that was a mess of rewrites, scripted versions, and production delays. This film was originally pitched to different actors like Tom Cruise, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and just a few others to name. It bounced around Hollywood for over a decade. Then Smith finally stepped in, the film went into production, and then quickly ran into a wall. The original ending that was filmed was truer to the novel, but bombed with test audiences. The studios, they panicked, they reshot the entire third act, and the director wanted something darker, but the studio wanted popcorn thrills. Neither one of them were happy, but the film became one of the biggest what could have been stories in sci fi. Still, because of Will Smith at the time, I Am Legend grossed over 580 million worldwide. But ask any real fan, including myself, they'll tell you the ending is where the chaos showed. And speaking of that, unless you know the alternate ending, which was actually the original ending, you won't understand the sequel that is coming out in theaters soon, which it does look pretty cool. But if you thought that was messy, wait till you hear about the next film and about the time that the director straight up walked out, disappeared from the set. Let's talk about Bohemian Rhapsody. You think a movie about Queen would be all rock anthems and good vibes, but Bohemian Rhapsody was one of the most dysfunctional big budget productions in recent memory. Bryan Singer, the film's original director, clashed with lead actors. Reports say Singer did no shows for days. He disappeared during shooting, citing health reasons. But insiders and his crew claimed it was just flat out lies. Eventually, 20th Century Fox had enough. Singer was fired 2 weeks before the film was due to wrap up. Dexter stepped in to finish it, but due to current contracts, Singer still got all the credit. Despite the drama, the film was a massive hit, nearly topping at $1 billion at the box office and 4 Oscars. It was proof that even a director walking off a set can't kill a powerful story as long as the music is right. But let's bring it back to the streets for a minute because that's where I'm from. I'm talking a gritty, grounded story with boiling tension because Training Day had the makings of all powerful yet dangerous film on and off camera. Training Day is one of those rare films where the intensity on screen matched the energy behind the scenes. The director battled with studio execs who wanted a cleaner, less brutal version of the story. He refused to compromise. Denzel Washington also fought for creative control. He didn't want Alonzo to be this likable character. He wanted him to feel dangerous. The shoot itself was wild. Scenes from this movie were filmed in some of LA's toughest neighborhoods, which included having to get actual permission from gang leaders that were associated with that neighborhood, and the production crew had very little protection.
We've been able to sit down with members of Bloods and members of the Crips and film in Imperial Courts and film in the jungle, and we would not have been able to do the things we do if it wasn't for Antoine. And
One day, gunshots actually rang out near the set. The next day, crew members refused to return to the location. Now, that is absolutely crazy, but that's what happens when you go into LA's toughest neighborhoods. Tension between Denzel and Ethan simmered during rehearsals. While sometimes hard, they kept their professional composure on camera. The end result, it all paid off. Training Day earned Denzel Washington an Oscar and became a modern crime classic. Now, before I end this film, I just want to make one honorable mention. And the reason why I didn't actually put this in the actual list is because I know it's been done probably thousands of times. I mean, it's YouTube. It's so hard to stay original in this game that it's just crazy. But y'all know the movie I'm about to talk about. Before Titanic, before Avatar, James Cameron nearly drowned his crew and cast members for The Abyss. Shot in an abandoned nuclear reactor filled with water, this was one of the most dangerous film sets ever built. Ed Harris almost drowned. Mary Elizabeth stormed off set after a physical and psychological breakdown. But Cameron, he just kept the cameras rolling. Harris later stated that he punched Cameron in the face after one underwater sequence left him gasping for air.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Can you tell me when you're getting uncomfortable?
Okay. All right. Get the shot over.
Ed is probably the ultimate trooper in the world, and if he wasn't before the abyss, he certainly is afterwards.
Cameron dismissed the danger. He was obsessed with realism, and it worked. The film won an Oscar for visual effects and became a cult classic. But it was that day that the crew barely ever talks about on camera because it was just that traumatic for them. And that's pretty crazy. Behind every great film is a war nobody talks about. A war with the clock, the budget, the ego, the vision. These 5 films were forced into chaos, but somehow they made it out alive and made it into cinematic history. Because in Hollywood, sometimes the greatest stories happen behind the camera, not while the film is rolling. Anyways, this has been Nick, a Movie AV Impulse. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe. Much love, and I will see you on the next one where I'll be talking about another rapper that was basically drowned and his career died over battle rapping. And also, I have another bars coming. And on top of that, I have a rock version to my segment bars. So stick around for that because the first band I'll be talking about, everybody loves. Anyways, till the next time, peace.